Hello friends, subscribers and new viewers of this channel, and welcome to Raspberry Pi and Linux tutorials. In this tutorial we explain how to correctly install Docker engine on Raspberry Pi 5. Over here you can see my Raspberry Pi 5. It has 8 GB RAM. In addition to these 8 GB RAM, I installed an SSD to my Raspberry Pi to increase its read and write speed. Now, this video tutorial is based on Linux Ubuntu 24.04. If you want to learn how to install Linux Ubuntu on Raspberry Pi 5, then you need to watch this video tutorial over here. And I will provide the link to this tutorial in the description below this video. Also, if you want to learn how to attach NVMe SSD to Raspberry Pi 5 in order to improve the read and write speed, then you should watch this video tutorial over here, and I will also provide the link to that tutorial in the description below this video. To install Docker engine on Raspberry Pi 5 with Linux Ubuntu, we need to follow this tutorial. I'm going to provide a link to this tutorial in the description below. Okay, so first of all you need to have an appropriate operating system, and here are the supported operating systems. In my case it's Noble 24.04 Linux Ubuntu. So let's verify that this is indeed the operating system running on my computer. Open a terminal and over here type release A and you should see this. If you see this or you see any other version stated over here, then you can proceed further. The first step is to uninstall old versions of Docker, and luckily we can do it by a single command over here, which is actually a for loop. This is really interesting since in Linux Ubuntu you can actually execute for loops in the terminal. So let's copy this. Let's go to the terminal and let's paste this and enter your password. And this should uninstall everything. If there is something, it's going to be uninstalled. Okay, you can see that nothing was installed in my case since I have a fresh installation of Linux Ubuntu. Good, let's continue. Okay, so let's look into the installation methods. There are several approaches for installing Docker. One approach is to install Docker Desktop for Linux. However, this is not lightweight application. Instead, we are going to install Docker Engine, which is a faster and a more suitable approach for Raspberry Pi 5. Okay, so you need to go to this section, install using the apt repository, and you need to execute these commands. So let's execute these commands line by line. First of all, let's do this. This will update all the packages. And after this command, I also like to execute another command. That command is not stated over here. However, my suggestion is to execute the command that I will explain. Namely, you need to execute sudo apt upgrade to upgrade everything and press yes. Next we need to install certificates curl, so let's run the second command. Oops, let me now just run it correctly. Then you need to run this command. Then you need to run this command, and then you need to run this command. Okay, next you need to add repository to apt sources, and watch out over here. The command spans several lines. It goes from here to here. Consequently, copy this and then run it again. Okay, now run again sudo apt get update. In addition to this one, also in the same line, run this sudo apt get upgrade, and this will update and upgrade all the packages. And wait for a while. Okay, the next step is to install the Docker packages. You have a specific version or you have the latest. Let's go with the latest version. So let's see what will be installed over here. You're not going to install only Docker, you're going to install a bunch of packages and you can see them over here. Let's copy them, paste them over here, and wait for a while. You can see that around 400 megabytes will be occupied. Consequently, be patient. And finally, we need to test the installation. To test the installation, we need to run a hello world container, or better to say image. So let's copy this, go inside of the terminal and execute this. Okay, so now the image is being pulled and the container is being executed, and you can see, hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. To generate this message, Docker took the following steps, and read what happened over here. And if you see something like this means that you have successfully installed Docker. However, the installation is still not complete. Why it's not? Well, usually people run Docker without sudo. So technically speaking, you should run it like this: Docker run hello world. And you will see this permission error. Permission denied while trying to connect to the Docker daemon socket. And this is a big issue. So how to resolve this issue? Well, to resolve this issue, you need to run the post-installation steps. And these post-installation steps will make sure that you can run Docker without sudo, that is without super user. Okay, so let's click on post-installation instructions, that is click over here. And let's see what needs to be done. We need to manage Docker as a non-root user. So first of all, you need to create a group called Docker. So let's do that, execute this. Over here, the group already exists and that's perfectly fine. Then you need to add this. And now, you need to log out and log back so that your group membership is reevaluated. So you actually don't need to do that. You can also run this command to activate the changes to this group. Oops, I didn't copy it correctly. Let me just erase this. Let me go back here. Let me copy this, paste it over here. Okay. And then now, let's verify that we can run Docker command without sudo. So to do that, let's run again this example, and we should be able to run the example. And here it is. We were able to run the example without the need to write sudo. And I suggest to everyone to do this. If you're using Debian or Ubuntu as your Linux operating system, you don't need to perform this step over here. However, if you're using some other Linux distribution, then you will have to perform this step such that Docker automatically starts on the system boot. Namely, you need to execute these two commands. If you want to disable automatic starting of Docker, then you need to run these two commands. And that's basically it. Now, login drivers, you don't need to play with this, and then you can also go further and you can go through this tutorial over here, which is a Docker workshop, which will teach you how to create images and how to pack everything in containers. Before we conclude this video tutorial, let's explain a few Docker commands. To see the list of containers that are either running or stopped, you need to execute this command. And over here you will see the container ID, you will see the image from which this container originates for, you can see hello, which is a command, and you can see the status, it's being exited 47 seconds ago, and you can see some additional information such as names and some other things. You can see that the names are pretty much random. That is, every time you try to start a hello world, it will give a different name. To see the images, you'll need to type this. And over here, you can see that there is only a single image, and that's the image we downloaded, and from this image we started 3 containers. So that's about it, and this will help you to start with Docker on Raspberry Pi 5. In addition to this video tutorial, on my YouTube channel there are more than 900 free video tutorials that cover different topics such as machine learning, software engineering, robotics, control engineering, mathematics, signal processing, FPGAs, etc. So make sure that you check out other videos, and I kindly ask you to press the like and subscribe buttons. That's all, and see you in the next video tutorial.